Welcome to the Raw Dogger Sportscast. I'm Sean Watson.
And I'm Ryan Kessler.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's almost Friday, brother.
It's almost Friday, and I think we're probably going to pay for this, but it's 57 degrees. We're in north central Ohio.
Oh, we're already paying for it.
How's that?
It's fucking monsoon out there.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. So, yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. I have a feeling we're going to go ahead and pay for this at some point. I mean, absolutely, the weather doesn't, But I just want to kind of get down to it. I think the biggest Browns news of this week is obviously the Jim Schwartz hire. We talked about it. I didn't really watch the video. You watched the video of the press conference yesterday. What did you think of the press conference?
I mean, a lot of Browns coaches have won their introductory press conferences over the years.
Yeah.
But with his pedigree and what he's coming into, he seemed like he was confident, and it really looked like Stefanski chose who he wanted to be there.
Right.
Like, he seemed pretty pumped about him being there. I loved, some of the stories he had about Malcolm Jenkins when he was in Philly, making examples of his star players to get the most out of them, but, doing it in the right way, talking just – you could tell he's a leader of men.
Yeah.
And he's done it at a high level at different places.
Right.
Those Tennessee defenses in the early 2000s, mid-2000s were amazing. And, I mean, when he went to Detroit, he was taking over a maybe even more of a dumpster fire than what we had here with Hugh Jackson.
Remember, they went over for 16 before he got hired. And I didn't even realize this till I was doing a little digging. But I guess, of course, I didn't remember at the time that there was kind of a Jim Schwartz sweepstakes going on. It was a big deal to land this guy, who's, and that should tell you something. Some guy that's just got done being the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, and he's that highly sought.
Right.
So, I mean, it was like a sweepstakes situation. They went, like I said, they went 0-6.
Well, and his strengths as a coach over the years has been our weaknesses.
Correct.
So, even if it's not Albert Haynesworth or Fletcher Cox level in the middle, if we can get, superior play in the middle, it's going to only help Myles Garrett out.
Let me ask you this, and I think this may have something to do with the Schwartz hire, and, when he was in that interview room. Just going off his track record, and you brought it up, the guy coached guys. I mean, at Tennessee, he coached Curse, an absolute animal. Haynesworth, Cortland Finnegan. Yep. I mean, these are like perennial Pro
Mario
Bowlers.
Roll.
Yes.
Keith Bullock.
And then even going down to another point. So then when he was at Philly, you had Fletcher Cox. So you got that big defensive tackle in Haynesworth. You got a big defensive tackle, a Pro Bowl type guy with Fletcher Cox. Do you think that really was a big selling point for him in that interview? Yeah.
And he opened up the interview too. It's awesome that he started here in Cleveland under Bill Belichick.
Yes.
And he said, he bought his first sofa when he was in the NFL in Cleveland.
Right.
And, can't think of the Dante Lavelli sold it to him.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't think Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski do anything without the intent. Mm-hmm. And you can see what he's had on his defenses for a long time. So I think what you're going to see in the offseason, whether it be a free agency trade or draft, is you're going to get a stout defensive tackle.
Right.
Because I think that's what he wants. And even when he was in Detroit, you had Ndamukong Suh and
good point.
Who was his running buddy there in the middle. But they had a great defensive line. That's one of the reasons they went to the playoffs. Yeah. That defense was just as good as the offense they had there with Calvin Johnson and Matt Stafford.
And this was this Ndamukong Suh before he started smashing fingers with his cleats.
During
the time. Well, another thing we have to point out about Detroit, too, is that they came off that 0-16 season like we talked about. But that's the year they drafted Matt Stafford. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then Calvin Johnson was drafted, That's the year they drafted Stafford was 08. And then
Stafford was before Calvin Johnson?
He was right after. He was a year after.
Okay.
Calvin Johnson was 07, but Schwartz took over in 08. They drafted Stafford. I think what he had just the one winning season at Detroit. He was 10-6. But, even some of the stuff I read, even with the Detroit Free Press from that time, was talking about, of course, it was an op-ed, was talking about how he basically changed Detroit, at least, but it was short-term.
Yeah.
But they thought it was going to be more even long-term.
A lot of the press there didn't think he should have got fired. They didn't think Caldwell should have got fired.
Right.
Because they both took him to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's another thing where it's such a week-to-week, day-to-day business anymore.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks don't get that long of a leash. Coaches don't get that long of a leash.
Coaches are even less. Yeah.
So
like I said, we had dug a little bit on this. Of course, you mentioned Belichick, being a scout for the Browns back in '93. So if it's not part of the Belichick tree, it's a twig.
Well, then he went to be a linebackers coach for the Ravens from '96 to '98.
Yes, that's right. That's the part I didn't see or didn't remember. Maybe I didn't know. I don't know.
But he got to coach up Ray Lewis when he was a rookie.
Pre-killing.
Post-killing.
I'm talking about the bloody white suit.
Well.
So, like we mentioned again, he eventually became the defensive coordinator on the Super Bowl team. So he immediately elevated the Eagles Super Bowl squad with Fletcher Cox in the middle. Of course, they played Tom Brady, gave up a ton of yards on both sides. I mean, the Patriots did too. They gave up a ton of yards. But before that, the two playoff games that year before, he gave up 17 total points.
Yeah.
He gave up 10 points.
Well, in that game, too, if you remember, they made stops when they had to.
Yeah. They gave up, they gave up 10 points to Atlanta and 7 points to Minnesota, like in the championship game. Or what was it, Atlanta?
Was it Green Bay?
Atlanta. No, it was.
I thought it was Green Bay.
No, it was Atlanta and Minnesota that year.
Was it? For some reason, I thought they were on the road in Green Bay for the NFC title game. You sure? Well, was that the year before?
That was the year before, I believe.
Okay, was it the year before that the Falcons blew it, or the year after?
No, the year before. The year before is the Falcons when the 28-3 meltdown.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, just in his first year though with Philly, he basically took the Eagles to at least a halfway point defensively on defensive scoring, and on overall defense. And then the Super Bowl year, they were ranked number
top
4.
5 or 4.
Yeah, they were ranked 4 in both categories.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever below 15, but they usually hovered around like 8 to 12.
Right. So of course he had a stint with Detroit. He went and just recently had a second stint with the Titans. Mm-hmm. He was a defensive assistant, not the coordinator.
Had some health issues.
Yeah. Yeah. In 2021, he actually, and I didn't think that that the defense was that good, but they were actually, I think where they were ranked, 12th in scoring defense and 6th overall.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
they were
pretty
the
impressive.
number 1 seed last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone forgets that.
Mm-hmm. So another thing, this is getting a little techie here, not to do the pun or push the pun out there, but Schwartz generally utilizes what's called a 9-tech defense or a wide 9. So basically, the defensive ends are blasting at the quarterback because they're so wide of the tight ends, and the fault with that is that you can get caught up in the run if you don't have that big defensive tackle in the middle and linebackers that fill those holes quickly.
Right. I think personnel-wise, we learned really quick how well Ronnie Ragland came in mid-season and played. Yeah. He's a big 250-pound linebacker. I think there's going to be some personnel moves that is going to align with what he wants to do. Obviously,
I do too.
They want him to succeed, and he's got the pedigree to. If him and Kevin get together and they want something done a certain way, they're going to get it done.
Another big difference we're going to see too is Schwartz is a press man coverage type of guy.
A lot more man, not a lot more blitzing though.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
That's fine.
if you can get pressure, you have Myles
Right.
Garrett, you get a stud defensive tackle.
Use that wide 9, and you're getting pressure on that quarterback.
And they run stunts because even like we'd watch games with the Browns this year, every time we'd see them run stunts, it worked. Like, why the hell are we not doing this more
right.
often?
And we even talked about that. I'm like, why aren't we doing more of this?
Yeah.
And it's like Joe Woods it almost seems like he was the stick in the mud guy. He's just going to go his way, and that's it.
People got tired of it.
Yeah, which brings me up to another great point, too, which come to find out that Jim Schwartz was one of the first defensive coordinators to ever embrace analytics. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say analytics are the be-all, end-all. Brandon Staley. Okay, but
it's not the analytics. It's do you use the information correctly?
That too.
It's all it is.
But
Information.
I think with the analytics though, you can't just go, hey, okay, well, it says here we should go at this at fourth down on our own 37 and a half yard line.
How is Brandon Staley not fired?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. So with that, John Johnson's done more than likely. He's probably gonna be done. His contract's up. Grant Delpit, from everything that I'm reading, is probably going to be the guy.
He's your box safety.
Yeah,
he's
going to be the guy. Well, and like I said, he's playing a lot of single high safety. He's going to use a lot of man with Ward and Newsome and Emerson. Emerson, I think, is going to be the guy. And then what's he going to run? He's basically running what, a 4-3?
It's a 4-3.
Yeah,
but,
it's a 4-3
nowadays it's more of a 4-2-5.
Right.
I mean, you got Pittsburgh and New England, Baltimore. They run kind of a 3-4, but that ends up being more of a 3-3-5.
It's almost like anymore the defense's schemes are hybrids of what they once were.
Yeah.
So
you have JOK playing linebacker. 20 years ago, he never played linebacker.
Well, I'm even talking about the formations.
Yeah.
Just like you said.
It's more of a 4-2-5.
Right.
You'll come out and play 4-3 on first down sometimes, but like if you're playing Tennessee or Baltimore or run heavy teams.
The other thing is too, is that going to yield to more turnovers in our favor too? Because if you're getting the pressure on that quarterback,
so I'm pretty sure that Super Bowl year the Eagles led the league in sacks, and we're top 5 in turnovers created.
Yeah,
you have the athletes on the especially on the back end to get the turnovers we want. The thing is Joe Woods' philosophy was more, we're going to trust our corners and safeties to cover long enough for Myles and Jadeveon to get there.
Right.
Well, his mentality is going to be, we need to get there faster so our guys in the back end don't have to cover as long.
Right. Don't have to cover it. Right.
And then you press. So you're up on them.
You're already on them.
And you're already making it a harder throw.
Great point.
I mean, you're going to get burnt sometimes, but I'd rather get burned every now and
again
than die a slow death.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that worries me a little bit, and because we saw that so much this year, and I'm not knocking on Schwartz, and I'm going to be the glasses half full Browns fan, going into it, which how do we do at this point? I don't know. When I'm reading about the wide 9 and how it leaves us open to the running game.
Well, that's not every play that he's coming out.
No, it's not. But I think wouldn't you say you're probably going to see, and it's not just, is it going to be more third down situations where you're just going to have that more?
Third down, second and long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the only thing that I worry about a little bit.
Well, the wide 9 is going to be perfect for Myles Garrett because he can crash that space that is created there.
Right. Well, and I think
you just need to have at least decent defensive tackles. That's what we've been missing for.
Right.
I mean, last year we had. I liked the Malik's. One had to be a dumbass and the other one was just old.
Right.
So.
And I think I brought this up before, though. I mean, when you have 125 defensive tackles that are being graded in the NFL, and your number 1 is at 97.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Your number 1 needs to be up in the 30s at least.
In the 30s, correct. Yeah. So that's going to be a problem. And that's what I was getting at, too, with that Schwartz hire that I don't even know if anybody's really talking about is, did he go into that interview, too, and say, I can get this guy. I don't know. I haven't dug into as far as who he has history with. Or maybe there's somebody coming out of the college and he's got ties to that guy, and because he was a scout. Remember, he was a scout.
He also knows Andrew Berry from his time in Philly.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I think they have a plan. I think they announced it early like this because they already knew who they were going to hire. I think we were talking about Flores and Mayo and everybody. Mm-hmm. He was the right guy.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to be a head coach. I mean, if we win a Super Bowl and 2 years, if he gets a job, he might take it. But he's not here to be Kevin's replacement.
Right.
Even if shit hit the fan, he's not going to be the head coach.
And I think that's really what the problem was with Flores, which I was really high on Flores, is the fact that he's on the fast track. He wants to get back to that head coaching position. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't blame him. I mean, he's a young coach.
He deserves it.
Absolutely. So,
but Schwartz, he's 65. I mean,
yeah.
And like I said, he started here. I think he really wanted to come back here, and he's seen the talent that's here.
Yeah,
so.
That's a big thing, too.
Helps when you have Deshaun Watson, too.
Yeah, and also helps when you got Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully he can put him in more situations that he's going to thrive even more.
Right.
So, we're going to find out. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on here, cover some of the last week's. Actually, we're going to go ahead and just cover a few short snippets here of last week's playoff games, Super Wild Card Weekend. This started off, I mean, Seahawks 23, 49ers 1.
41.
Or 41, I'm sorry. Not 1. How'd you get 1
They
point?
had a half a safety.
Yeah, they had half a Brett Maher. Scored, yeah. All right, 41. The favorite one and covered here. I'm going to throw that out there a little bit.
It was a good game at halftime.
Yeah.
It looked pretty...
It looked really... Yeah. It looked... I think it almost caught everybody off guard. And then when you're talking about the coaching, you got Carroll against, Shanahan, offensive guy against mostly defensive guy.
You just can't... You can't go 4 quarters with that defense in San Fran.
Yeah.
Your defense has to match theirs.
Right. And that's the thing, too. They would just end up wearing them down. And also, the Niners ended up scoring, 25 points, I think? 25 unanswered points in that second half.
Yeah, because once shit starts going downhill with them, it goes quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Purdy's still on fire. You can keep riding Purdy. And you get me riding Purdy. So he's still kind of on fire there, 18-30. And I think how they're really gaining a lot there is Purdy's mobility. And I like that. That's my kind of quarterback. Mm-hmm. I like the guy that extends the plays. Of course, I was listening to it a little bit. He did take a pretty big hit there in the second half. You have to know, and that's a rookie thing. You have to know when to hold him, when to fold him,
right.
And that's going to come.
Aaron Rodgers did the same shit when he was young.
Yeah. But I mean, he would. 332 yards, 3 touchdowns. But here's the important thing when I was talking about the mobility. He only took 1 sack for a loss. I mean, that's...
Well, their scheme helps out so much.
It does.
But the thing is, when you watch him play and you watch like Kirk Cousins play, you can tell that the ceiling is a little bit different with both of them.
Yes. Yeah.
You can do a lot more with Brock Purdy than you can do with that type of quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's exactly what they thought Trey Lance was going to be.
Yeah.
And it
just sucks. It just sucks for the Niners what they had to do, what they had to do with Trey Lance.
But you get it one way or the other, you know. Yeah. So they lucked out on that.
Did you hear any rumors of possibly Trey Lance getting traded to the Buccaneers?
I haven't heard any rumors on Trey Lance yet.
Okay. All right. I thought I heard something this last
that
week.
As soon as the season's over, that shit's going to be...
Yeah, it is.
That's going to be probably the number one story.
This was like maybe even a week ago or even before the playoffs started.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But what the thing is are you talking about like Tom? Well, Tom's going to be a free agent, right?
I think he is, but he also has... doesn't he have a no trade clause too?
Well, I'm sure he does in his contract, but I just mean...
Because did they extend him one more year?
I thought that was just for this year.
Okay, all right. So he's
well, he retired, but he still had a year left on his contract.
Correct.
I think that was this year.
I was wondering how that would. Yeah.
Because if it was a trade, I would think he'd want to go out there. He was a Niners fan growing up,
right?
And that would be a perfect place for him to go.
And if there's anything I think the Niners want to get back, they want to get some draft capital back.
Yeah,
so
they're not going to get 3 1s, but you could probably get a 2 and a 3.
I mean, I'd really hate to sit Purdy down right now, but I mean, and I know he's won a playoff game. But I also know the sophomore quarterback slump.
Right. Yeah.
When defenses start figuring stuff out and coaches start figuring stuff out.
Well, I've been waiting for it because
it's a real thing.
How many games has he played now? You'd think.
I think that was his 6th start, maybe 7th.
Yeah.
6th or 7th
You'd think
start.
there'd start to be
I could be wrong about that. It's right around there.
Yeah. You'd think there'd start to be something like that, but it seems like he gets better every week.
Yeah.
But you got, like I said, his mobility. That'll get you out of a lot of shit.
Right. All right.
Really good arm strength though too. Surprisingly good arm strength.
He's not built. I mean, he doesn't look like he would have that. He doesn't have.
But he's not Lamar Jackson.
No, but he's not. Well, yeah, but I'm saying built. He's not. Yeah, he's not Josh Allen.
6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, is he even that?
220.
I think he's 6'2". Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, he's a thinner build, and he doesn't look like. Of course, Deshaun Watson, I thought with him coming out of college, I didn't think it was ever going to work because I just thought he was too thin. I didn't think he was going to last in the NFL, but
he's gained some weight since the college.
He has. I don't think it's a lot.
But he's also thicker than Lamar.
Yeah. All right. Jags 31, Chargers 30. The dog won in this game. I'm probably getting the huge crying Jordan on this.
It's only the only reason you're getting it is because it was 27-0.
I know. Well, it's 27-0. So I think maybe what saved me. There's a few things. Well, not saved me. I think there was a few things that led to the Jags doing what they did, and I think the first step of that was how the Chargers let them score late in the first half. They scored with Evan Ingram in the first half, made it 27-7. So then we're not talking about.
I thought it was 27-3 first half.
Was it? I thought it was.
Did they get in the end zone?
Yeah, they got in the end zone. They did. Yeah, they got in the end zone. Why I would ever even consider backing Brandon Staley, I just thought that maybe the Chargers had gotten healthy and they looked like they could be a team that was going to get hot. To me,
they didn't get hot all year.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying towards the end of the season.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I thought that too.
Oh,
I thought they were probably the second most talented team in the league.
And it's like now you just want to never ever buy into the Chargers as long as Brandon Staley's there.
The
Chargers will charge her. They're going to bolt, and they're going to bolt themselves right out of a playoff game. So Jags with five turnovers. Trevor Lawrence, inexcusable for the Chargers to lose this game, and you have 5 turnovers in one half. Not the whole game. The whole game is unexcusable.
In San Diego, LA, they didn't turn the ball over once, did they? They just could not move the ball in the second half. And they didn't try running it either. I think they only had like 6 rushing attempts in the second half. You got a fucking almost four possession lead.
So whether you like Rex Ryan or not, I do still think that he was a great defensive guy. He took Mark Sanchez and the Jets, didn't he? Took them to the playoffs at least a couple times in there.
2 AFC title games.
Yeah, so he's an analyst. He's an analyst on ESPN. But this is what he had to say about Staley.
Things happened in that game. Number one, like good and bad. You're right, Matthew. You talked about how the Chargers came out because I'm not just going to kill Staley. He had his team popping out of their skin to start the game. 5 takeaways. All right, you're +5 in a turnover battle, and you lose. That's the first time it's ever happened in a playoff game in NFL history, right? So why? Well, you talk about running. All right, Justin Herbert decides on some of them. We showed that highlight. He said, you know what? If we're not going to call a run, I'll just go ahead and run. Like, are you kidding me? And Austin Eckler in the second half had 6 touches. He's like your go-to guy.
He needs to get in the ball.
Like you got to. Everything's about. Here's the thing about this young man that bothers a veteran coach. All right, Brandon Staley the new ideas and all that, that's great. Being aggressive, that's great. But sometimes this young man is reckless as a coach, in my opinion. And you should learn from some of the other guys. Like, normally, back in the day, you'd have to coach for years. You'd get your chance. You were ready for these situations. You don't lose a game like this.
No, you don't.
27. We saw it happen twice this year. To who? To young coaches. Jeff Saturday never coached. All right. That's why he blows the lead. Here's another young guy that doesn't get it. Respect the game. Respect the guys that have been there before you. All right. And I've seen it with all these fourth down reckless calls that he makes. He got better this year as it went on. But that really bothers me. And here's how. How do you close out games? Well, first off, you keep the clock running, right? I don't know. Is this a new rule that the clock stops on an incompletion? How about that? How about we start running the ball a little more, keep the clock going, and if you do throw the football, make sure you're throwing
That's
completion.
Where I start losing on Rex Ryan a little bit. You always want to throw completions, Rex. Okay, yeah. I mean, let's grant it there. The biggest thing is, though, and he's got a great point. So Austin Eckler only had 6 touches, 0 yards. He had 0 yards in that second half.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing there. I'm with him. And I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they were turning the ball over. They were leaving as much time on the clock as possible, and they were just allowing Jacksonville to get every bit of momentum that they wanted.
Yeah.
As soon as they scored that first touchdown, they made that stop, scored a touchdown, made it 27-14.
Right.
I knew it. You could just feel it in your ball sack.
Right. And we talked about this. Staley, it sounds to me, at least, of course, every organization is going to be like, yeah, Staley's, we're good. We're good. Staley's going to stay here.
Why?
He had 10 wins and he had 9 wins last year, I think. So
the thing is with him is like they basically wanted to give us the game in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like he went for fourth down at the end of the game. We had no timeouts. Like, why?
That game was ours.
Yeah, we just missed the kick.
That game was ours.
And there's a couple other games this year. It's like, dude, he's trying to. I understand the philosophy of being aggressive, and I think, like, for the most part, Stefanski does a good job. At least those fourth down opportunities aren't so egregious like 4th and 2 at midfield, and the other team has no timeouts, and there's 40 seconds left. Like, why are you throwing the ball there?
Let me tell you something, and I'm not a big Kyle Shanahan guy, all right, but if he wins the Super Bowl with the Niners, I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
But they blew that lead, 28-3. Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Brandon Staley needs to get on the phone with Kyle Shanahan right away and say, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Because it seems like he's learned, he's matured a little bit. I'm not even Shanahan. I'm not comparing the two, but
one's offense guy, one's defense guy too.
Yeah, well, right, okay, but what do I need to do? But ultimately, he has the calls, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't
understand why they're keeping him.
I don't either.
Like somebody who should trade a first round pick to get Sean Payton is them.
Yeah, you
have the quarterback,
right?
Whether or not he's a top 3 quarterback in the league doesn't matter. He's fucking good.
I mean, they're gonna. That's the thing too. They could, when I was talking about, we're behind our guy. Brandon Staley's gonna be here. Sean Payton's out. If he said he's interested,
tell me you wouldn't.
He's going there.
Yeah,
he's going there. Brandon Staley's out.
Yeah,
I mean, he might be a special teams guy.
Yeah, because you're like Herbert's not getting the right coaching.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
That offense should be a lot better than it was this year.
Especially when you have, and I know Mike Williams was out for that game, but Keenan Allen's just
and
he's
the
an absolute
decision
baller.
to play Mike Williams last week, isn't his back broke now?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Is that what it was?
It was something
back?
spinal, yeah. Or one of his vertebrae was chipped or something. Like, that's not good.
No.
And he was playing in a meaningless game. Justin Herbert wasn't even in.
Yeah.
Why is he on the field?
I can't get it out of my mind, though, with Eckler touching the ball only 6 times in the second half. Yeah, that guy.
At least some screens.
That guy, yeah,
dump
get him
it
out
off.
of space. He's an absolute. You
don't have to run it. You can throw a little.
Yeah, just get him out in space.
Yeah,
and just that way it makes it easy for
Time's going.
Yeah, time's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just like Rex Ryan was talking about. So, all right, Bills 34, Dolphins 31.
This game was insane.
It was very insane. Fins covered. Bills favored by 13.5. So one of the nuggets that I heard about this was no double-digit favorite has ever won on Super Wild Card Weekend up to this point. Has ever won.
I'm surprised we weren't
covered. Not covered. I'm talking won.
I'm surprised we weren't double-digit underdogs in that Steelers game.
It must not have been. It's
probably like 8.5.
Because those guys even talked about it. Well, and then when I was listening to the broadcast, like, wait a minute, how about that Niners Seahawks? And then I remembered that the line settled like on 9. So they weren't double digits, I don't think, by game time. There was like 9 or 9.5. So because
they didn't win either.
They just won. Well, the Niners won.
Right, but they weren't underdogs.
Yes. Well, no. I'm saying the favorites have never won. That's the stat. No double-digit favorite has ever won a Super Wild Card Weekend up to that point. A double digit. That's the stat. That's alarming. Now, granted...
Well, then, yeah, that makes sense. The Browns weren't a double-digit favorite.
Yeah.
They were probably a double-digit underdog.
Yeah. That blew my mind. That was even a thing.
So they were the only ones that had... I thought...
Just on Super Wild Card Weekend.
Right, but I thought there was another 10-point spread.
It was Niners, and then it settled down to 9.5, I believe, by game time.
Cincinnati. Okay, yeah, because Cincinnati was what, 8.5?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was actually, I think it was 9. It got up to 9.5, and then it ended up settling at 8.5 before game time. Yeah. Is what you know.
I
what
thought
happened.
they were going to win that.
Yeah. So, of course, the elephant in the room is the Dolphins just inexcusable drops. I mean, the drops are just all over the place in the first half.
That cost them the game.
Yeah, maybe no more crucial than Skylar Thompson's second throw from scrimmage when
Jalen Waddle had the dropsies bad.
Yeah, and he got a lot of shit on Twitter about this too. Did you see all that? No. They just went at him. It's like, and I was thinking the same thing when I was watching it. I'm like, why did he jump for that ball? He was so wide open.
Oh, the one where he's behind the...
Yeah, it was like the second throw from Skylar Thompson. Yeah. He jumped.
Yeah, there was I think the one... It might have been him. I couldn't remember if it was him or Tyreek, where it did get hit out. That happens, but there was 5 or 6 drops that were inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean Tyreek Hill had drops.
Skylar Thompson did play a bad game, but he wasn't. It wasn't sharp.
It wasn't.
It was a lot of sitting there and then rolling out right.
I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. had a check down drop that was in the second half that probably would have, and he had open space, and you could see on the replay he was looking ahead.
Yeah.
And that happens. Yeah. And that happens. But still,
your two top guys.
When you have all those drops, though,
yeah.
It just compounds it. What do you think about Josh Allen in this game? 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, 1 was for a scoop and score early in the second half.
And they were stagnant as hell for about a quarter in the second half.
Do you feel like maybe the Bills were overlooking the Dolphins a little bit in this game?
They played tight every time they played this year.
No, they did, but this time they had Skylar Thompson and it wasn't Tua. So maybe
That's
they
a good
weren't
defense,
taking it as
I don't know if it's about being as serious, because I Gabe Davis balled out.
He did. Well, and Diggs,
I don't think it's about taking it serious. I think Miami has played Buffalo pretty well, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo is just, you can get 3 turnovers off of them, but they're still going to put 30 up.
Right.
So that's just how good they are.
And it's like it's almost kind of like the Niners, where they can just score and stack them up quick.
Buffalo versus Niners Super Bowl would be interesting. That would be
very, very interesting. That would be interesting for sure. I think the Bills, I saw some of those blown coverages they had on the back end a little bit, but the Dolphins could never capitalize. They kept dropping the ball.
Right.
The front seemed like it was pretty good. The other thing too was the game looked like it took forever. Like it was a 4-hour long game. And I think McAfee earlier this week was even talking about how he went to sleep and took a nap, and he woke up and only 30 seconds went by of a 30-minute nap. It was But getting back to Josh Allen, I think you're going to have to clean some of that up. You're going to have to clean up. And I know that he's the big, and I love Josh Allen. I'm not saying I don't, but I think you're going to have to clean some of that up if you want to keep going deep in this playoffs or make it to a Super Bowl.
Well, and you got to, dude, that's the third time that Miami's seen him this year.
It is. That's
I still don't
that's
think,
a great point.
I still don't think he's 100% with his arm. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I think there's more of Cincinnati better have a healthy enough offensive line to play Buffalo.
Yeah, that's going to
Because even without Von Miller, dude, that front they get at it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they're down, 3 starters Cincinnati is on the offensive line now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to, it could be a bad day for Cincinnati.
The left tackle don't play. Their backup left tackle looked like shit.
Yeah, he did.
They couldn't move the
looked
ball
bad.
at all.
I mean, that guy,
I think Kappa, it was either Jonah Williams or Kappa, the left tackle or the right guard, might be able to play this weekend.
Okay.
But I don't think it's looking very good for either one of them.
And I haven't really looked at the lineups on that yet. I mean, do you think that they're going to try to move some stuff around on that offensive line?
The right
is it too
side's. I mean, the right side's been playing that way for the last 3 weeks,
Right.
so I would just keep going.
It's like
that
you don't
way.
want to disrupt it,
Yeah,
but then again,
it's already disrupted.
You definitely don't want to be weak on Joe Burrow's blind side either.
Well, they're weak on both sides.
Yeah, they are.
Well, they have a backup right tackle in.
Right. Oh, that's right. Oof.
That's why they didn't have very good offensive line last year, but like these are dudes that shouldn't be out on the field in the playoffs. Good luck.
Good luck. So, like we said there, Diggs, Davis, both 100 yards receiving for the Bills. Josh Allen still 3 touchdowns in that game. It was kind of cool to see Beasley getting a touchdown there.
Yeah.
You're just
I
coming
didn't even realize
in there.
he was playing for them again.
Yeah. They picked him up late, so it was kind of I don't know. It might have been early December, maybe late November or something like that. He wasn't playing when we played him.
Right.
So, all right. Giants 31, Vikings 24.
You could tell from the get-go the Giants they wanted it more.
Yeah.
And it's just Minnesota offensively, I think they can play with anyone, but their defense is just so bad that at some point it was going to break.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I mean,
I think the biggest story of this whole thing is the fact that Minnesota's defense is old. It's slow. It's very slow. And you could see that because Jones was 17 carries for 78 yards. He led the Giants' rushing attack. Not Barkley, who also still scored 2 touchdowns. Barkley had 58 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Daniel Jones 17. Here's my thing too. Why aren't they putting a spy on him? Did you see any type of spy situation in an in-game adjustment?
I think that Vikings team was like a mirror image of our 2020 Browns playoff run. You had an offense that could put up points and a defense that tried to stop you in the red zone.
Yeah.
And get turnovers where you can. I don't think they had the personnel to be able to spy or do anything like that. They were just dropped.
Just there.
Yeah, you're not even playing in between the 20s. You're just trying to get them to the red zone, make them kick a field goal.
So the regular season, the Giants and Vikings played.
And the Giants should have won that game.
Yeah, the Vikings won with the last-second field goal. But also remember, the Vikings have won 11 games this season by less than a touchdown.
Right.
So it was a new NFL record.
Yeah.
Not really shocked that the Giants lost. They were favored. They were 3-point dogs. But I still wanted to stay away from that game because I didn't know what was going to happen.
We all said, I was going to go Minnesota only because they were at home.
At home. And that was the 3 points. So.
And Danny Dimes, to his credit, has been playing pretty well this year.
He has.
So I think he's earned another contract. I don't think it's be a giant one, but
right.
Give him a 2-year contract, see what happens.
Right. Is he going to go for a 2-year, you think?
No. He'll get a 3-year, $120 million contract.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It's quarterback.
I know.
I don't think it'll be all guaranteed, but
right.
He'll probably get 100 guaranteed or something.
So the other big story I think in this game too was Isaiah Rodgers, originally drafted by the Bills in 2020. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't really see this guy anywhere, and then this guy led the receiving attack for the Giants here, 8 for 105, 1 touchdown on 9 targets. So basically, he was catching everything. He had there was one incompletion to him. Didn't see Kenny Golladay on the stat sheet at all. So apparently is he out with Derek Carr? Or are they like doing something together?
He's probably out with Odell on the yacht.
Boat trip.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't he in that picture? Or no, that was too long ago. Wasn't it?
I don't know if he was or not.
No, he wasn't in New York then. He was in Detroit.
Detroit, that's right. He was in Detroit.
If he was even in the league yet, that was what, 2015, 16?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right. Yeah, it was because that's the year that.
It might have been 2017.
Yeah, because that's the year they went to Green Bay and just got
mollywopped.
Yes,
yeah.
They got smacked. Vikings offense in this game only possessed the ball 26 of the 60 minutes. Another big stat, 4 for 10 on third down.
Yeah, man. They have to, at some point, do a rebuild.
The Vikings?
Yeah, because, again, I would love to go to the playoffs every year and have a shot at it, too.
Yeah.
But, Kirk Cousins just isn't it.
They held Dalvin Cook 15 for 60.
He's not, he can barely stay healthy most of the time,
I know.
too.
He's always injured. So, the Giants gave up a ton of yards to Hawkinson, kind of a bend, don't break. They were willing to give it up to the tight end. He went 10 for 129, kept it out of the end zone. But Thielen, Jefferson, Osborne together combined for 117 yards and 1 touchdown.
New York's going to be a tough out.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game as New York and Philly.
Yeah. So here's the other thing, too. So the Vikings have Kirk Cousins through the next season at $35 million. His dead cap hit is about equal to that. So Kirk Cousins is probably not going anywhere
unless they get a trade.
Unless they can get a trade, and
you could probably still get a first-round pick out of him.
You think so?
Or maybe a second.
You think?
Late first. A team that would come to mind.
That's what I was going to ask you too.
Before the end of the year, I would say Pittsburgh. But
here's my things. Okay, because they already gave up a ton of draft capital. Not a ton, but some primo draft capital to get Hawkinson over in the middle of the season. So, which I still can't figure that one out.
Yeah, why Detroit did that?
Well, I can't figure out why they did that. Why the Vikings did that either. So, but in 2023, the Vikings have a 23rd first-round pick. They have a 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 5th-round pick. And that's what they got. So they have that first. So I would think if they were, and they were talking, the rumors were last summer that they were talking about
trading him anyway. Yeah, I thought he was going to be here.
Yeah. We did talk about that. So I think it's going to have to go to somebody that's going to take some of that money away, and they're going to have to give up some picks to the Vikings. Because if the Vikings aren't rebuilding their defense with their picks, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they just have so much there. They're really just they're a quarterback away, but they need to build their defense.
The defense to me is really the issue. Even though I am a Kirk Cousins hater.
But you need to build the defense, but you still need to have a quarterback there. Cousins is if they had a good defense, they would be formidable.
Kirk Cousins is a serviceable quarterback. I'm not saying that. Now, I think his receivers make him look a lot better than what he is.
But he's.
But when you got
he's a great
when you got
stat guy.
Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, he's better than those guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him that. Of course, we're talking about Ravens all-time defenses there too.
And Buccaneer all-time defense.
Yes, Buccaneers. That's right. So if they're not using that draft capital, who can you even think that might even be interested just with draft capital? Obviously, the Detroit's got a ton still, right?
Yeah, but they're not going to do that in division.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either.
I think Jared Goff is probably the same level at this point.
Yeah. I think they're going to ride Jared Goff. Boy, oh boy. I mean, everybody's throwing the Raiders out there.
Yeah, but the Raiders, if you're going to do it, why would you do that? Just take your high pick and get a quarterback, or trade. And if they're going to trade Derek Carr away, right. why would you bring Kirk Cousins in unless it's a swap?
Was Derek Carr also, was this the last year of his contract there?
I don't think so.
No? Is he still tied up for another year?
I thought he had an extension not that long ago.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing Derek Carr in Minnesota.
No, he would be good though.
I think it would be a really good move for the Vikings.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the Raiders have
what they would have to do if they wanted to get Derek Carr, they'd have to trade him and a first and probably next year's third or second to get that.
But
because that's not a one-on-one trade.
No, but I mean, Derek Carr's, as far as the actual money situation there, I don't think Derek Carr's too far off of Kirk Cousins.
It wouldn't kill him.
No.
The thing is do the Raiders want that, or are they going to wait for Tom Brady?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
But the thing is why would you mortgage 1 year if you're Josh McDaniels? But he needs to have a winning season.
Well, we are talking about Davis here too.
Yeah.
As the owner. So who knows? Okay. Bengals 24, Ravens 17. So the dog and the Ravens covered down in the
Chili. They should have won that game.
Down on the Chili Con Carne Stadium. That's my new. Instead of Paycor, it's Chili Con Carne.
That one's for you, Max.
Yeah.
My buddy's a Bengals fan. Asshole.
Is he a subscriber?
Yeah.
Subscribe, Max, please. Okay, good. Thank you, Max.
He asked me to say something good about the Bengals today. I told him absolutely not.
So the game was extremely tight. Tyler Huntley fumbled at the goal line there, and Sam Hubbard ran the ball back 98 yards for a Bengals touchdown.
Well, it almost looked like a Browns game until that happened. Now I'm not watching the Browns. Something good happened when it shouldn't have.
I mean, Tyler Huntley and Joe Burrow's stats are really close in this game.
They didn't do shit in the second half.
I mean,
they honestly didn't do a whole lot in the first half.
Burrow didn't turn the ball over, so that was a big difference. Where Huntley turned it over twice, had an interception and a fumble.
That first interception was bad.
Yeah, that fumble. Yeah,
the fumble wasn't horrible. He was trying to make a play.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think you were just a little far out to try that there.
Yeah,
and they timed it right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it was. I got to hand it to who ended up swiping that ball out on the Cincy defense.
It was. I know Hubbard picked it up, but it was. The fuck was his name? Whoever Wilson or whatever, Logan Wilson, I think.
Logan Wilson,
one of the white linebacker they have.
Right.
Vontez Burfict, maybe. I don't
Canceled. The other thing in this game too was there's a couple things, but I want to get to this Jim Harbaugh video or John Harbaugh. Sorry, John Harbaugh. Fuck Jim Harbaugh. Okay, but I want to get to this John Harbaugh. He's just been getting shit about this, and as much as I don't want to defend a Harbaugh period, I don't really understand
the questions.
Yeah, I
was watching it too.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole thing with this, and I kind of noticed this year especially. I think it must be something contractually with the NFL. Why is the NFL pulling coaches away during live play? And this is what happened.
They taped it when they get out of the tunnel, then they show it.
Huh?
They don't do that while the game's going on.
No, I've seen them run back. That's what this whole thing was about. I've seen them run back to this. Are you sure about that?
They won't. Yeah, they're not going to make them come from the sideline during a game to do that. No,
because that's what they were talking about was. They're interrupting him during the actual plays.
No. There's no way that they're doing that.
Okay. All right.
That's what they said? Who said that?
That's what people have been talking about.
No, they taped that. Then they'll, even when he said they were going to that, like, she got him when they were coming out of the tunnel.
Okay. Well, I didn't see that part of the full clip.
He's probably trying to get to whatever they're doing to get ready before halftime.
Because it looked like it looks to me like he's running back. Not towards the tunnel area. It looks to me.
Well, it's when they're coming out.
Ah, okay.
To get out and stretch.
All right.
Everything before second half starts.
Right. So I just got to throw this clip out here. I don't know if it's if it's warranted or not. Like I said, I don't know if I want to defend a Harbaugh, but
I should respect him, not Jim.
John.
Think about that last penalty.
Well, I didn't like the last penalty.
And so what will you tell your guys defensively?
We'll be fine. Our guys will be fine. It's going to be a hard-fought game out here. We're going to play a good game.
And Tyler Huntley with that interception, you said we might see Anthony Brown. What will that take?
We'll just see how the game goes, okay? Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Well, I think that one was like in between quarter shift.
Is that what it was?
I thought, because I remember when that happened, I was like, yeah, what the hell are you asking him?
Yeah, but I've seen this happen more so it wasn't, it's possible it didn't happen during half. It was in between quarters.
Could be in between quarters.
Okay. All right. The guy's obviously already frustrated, so I have to defend. I have to defend him on that, but him just like scowling back at her. But the actual expression, it. I actually do too. I don't want to admit that, but why are you interrupting these guys?
Right.
I guess I was wrong on that. I thought it was actually during some of the live play.
No, there's.
Then what are people talking about that even? But I don't know. I don't know. I
don't get that shit either. Like going into half, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I don't know.
Yeah, the quarters. I mean, you already have a requirement for post game pressers.
Well, just the questions that she asked.
Yeah, that too.
Give us your game plan.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Are you bringing the third string quarterback in? We'll just see how the game goes.
Right. Are you fucking retarded?
Yeah. Another big story on this was the fact that Lamar Jackson didn't travel with the team. Rappaport on McAfee show earlier this week basically stating that, which is what Rappaport and Schefter do, but basically stating that he hasn't heard either way. But basically, he was giving Lamar a pass for not traveling with the team. Have you seen this? I mean, have you seen anything like this? Because I know he doesn't want to expose himself because he's going to expose his contacts. Rappaport saying, well, he's got all the facilities and stuff that are back in Baltimore, back whole. Yeah, right.
They're probably working outside. Underneath a tent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, underneath the tent. Yeah.
While Mike Brown's going around, telling people they better get their fucking recyclables in the recyclable container.
They got like broken Bowflexes out there. They're smacking their ass while they're trying to do bench presses.
I don't know why everyone seems to get really hurt on this field.
Yeah, can't figure it out. Big deal, not a big deal, Lamar.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I think it's a great.
That's the first thing. Like, dude, why are you not at least with your teammates in a playoff game? Like, he should be on the sideline with Huntley.
He should be on the sideline. So here's the other question, though, too. Is it Baltimore? So let's say that Baltimore said, we want you to stay home. We want you to keep rehabbing there at the facility. We don't want you traveling to do that. I'm just throwing it out there.
If I was him, I'm like, well, respectfully, no. I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
Because I want to play next week if I can.
I know the travel time. It's not like you're just flying in that day.
Right.
Okay, and I get that. But
that's not even that long of a flight.
No, but you're meaning to tell me that he's not just taking he's flying there on his own and then flying right home?
Yeah, he could do that.
Yeah, he's got tons of money.
And I'm sure Baltimore would do that for him.
Sure. So why is he not there at the game? Does Baltimore think that he's going to be a distraction? They don't want to hear him on the sidelines. They don't want to, or not hear him. They don't want the cameras showing him on the sidelines.
That could be it.
That could be it too. So whether it's Lamar holding out, I know that's kind of the consensus here, and I'm not a Lamar guy either. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, or is it Baltimore is just saying, yeah, I
didn't think about it on that angle. That could be, but I think I would just Lamar's history. I don't feel like he'd be one to sit home while they're in the playoffs.
Yeah. And and Ryan, I would give you that probably if it wasn't for earlier this season in some of the tweets that he put out, especially with that.
Baltimore's putting him in a bad situation.
And they are, but they're putting it. He also has to understand that he doesn't have an agent, And
Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but no, I guess
he has to sign the contract at the end of the day.
But what I'm saying is that he has to understand that the NFL is a business. And I think
he's understanding that. He's trying to make as much money as he can.
So that goes back. Is he holding out by not showing up? Is he trying to distance himself from Baltimore?
I think the raft has already been let
not
go.
Holding out, yeah.
I don't think he's there next year.
Yeah.
They're going to franchise tag him and trade him.
Yep. I think that's a real possibility.
Because why?
That was going to be my next question.
I think the ship's already sunk because everything that's happened to this point, they had a chance last year to sign him. They had a chance this year to sign him. They had a chance to do it during the season. And obviously, talks have gotten to the point where he doesn't want to even reach out to them for contract reasons. So if I was him, I would feel disrespected. The guy won a unanimous MVP. They've been to the playoffs every year he started.
Right.
I mean, what more can you ask from the guy?
Yep.
Their whole offense is based around him.
The 80% win rate.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, too, is Harbaugh, I shouldn't say, is he kind of on a hot seat situation here?
He's not.
He shouldn't be. But, they've built that offense around Lamar. And that could really be a problem, and that could be something that Harbaugh hasn't completely dug into or bought into. Maybe it's something behind in the organization that's saying, if we let Lamar go.
I think it's the general manager there that doesn't want to. They don't have the money like we got it.
Yeah.
We got to remember, the Haslam's don't give a crap about shelling out money.
Yeah.
Some of these owners, they don't want that guaranteed money out there because they have. If you do that, you have to put all that money in escrow.
Yeah.
Haslam can write a check. Some of these owners aren't cash rich like that.
Right.
They don't have oil. You know what I mean?
It's true.
They're not
true.
Flying J's.
Flying J's and the other stops along the way. Whatever those
Especially
may
the
be.
Bengals. That's what all these Bengals fans thinks Joe Burrow is going to be there forever.
Well,
if he is, they ain't going to be able to keep Higgins, Boyd, Chase, all these guys.
Exactly. I mean, they're right in that perfect window right now.
Right, and he can say what he wants. When it comes down to get a contract, he's going to want the money.
Burrow's going to want a contract.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He's going to want to get paid big time.
Somebody going to give it to him.
Yeah. Well, they're not letting him go. I mean, if the Bengals organization knows anything, they would get rid of Mixon, they get rid of Chase, they get rid of. I mean,
but the thing is
you can bring other guys in.
He's going to have to be Tom Brady then and take less money and to keep guys, or he's going to have to get paid all that money and elevate everyone all the time.
Right. And I think though that Burrow could be that type of quarterback that you could bring in, a Wes Welker or a Julian Edelman, elevate those guys, bring in. What's the other guy we thought he was with the St. Louis Rams for a while?
Kurt Warner?
The Patriots. No, the Patriots brought in the receiver. He was always hurt.
Amendola.
Amendola, yeah, he just made him look good.
Well, you got to think too. The cap is just going to go up and up. But the thing is, it's guaranteed money. If he's going to want a guaranteed contract, they only have so much money they can give out guaranteed.
You also got to remember, as the cap keeps going up, the more the quarterbacks are going to want too.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Like Mike Brown doesn't have money to be shelling out for guaranteed contracts. The only money they have is the money they have in the team.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Open a couple chili stands.
Right.
Whatever.
Some more
Let's go.
Skyline chili down there.
Yeah, Skyline chili.
Start cooking the books.
Have you had Skyline chili down there? Because
I've had it up here and it's fucking horrible.
It tastes like a book. It tastes like you're actually cooking literal books. All right. Okay. Cowboys 31, Tampa 14.
This is the one I didn't even get to watch.
No, I watched this game. Cowboys only favored by 2.5, and I think it settled at 2.5 during that game.
I knew they were going to win.
Yeah,
they're just a better team.
Yeah,
Tampa.
I wouldn't say I knew they were going to win, but I had a really good feeling. They were my pick. They were my pick this week. I just had a really good feeling.
Me and you picked
as long as Dak Prescott
didn't turn the ball over,
and he's been a turnover machine as of late. Against Washington, we covered it the week before, 37%. Why they had him playing that many snaps? I mean, I get it, but then I kind of don't get it because you are actually watching what's going on in the other games, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, with the Cowboys.
Why are they having?
the week before.
Oh, last week?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really
get in the groove?
understand all that.
That didn't happen?
But I mean, if you're the Cowboys, who else are you wanting to play? I mean, obviously with the history of the Cowboys playing Tom Brady, of which they were 7-0 going into that. Tom Brady was 7-0. Only 3 of those games were relevant, and I'm not standing up for Dallas here, but only 3 of them were with Prescott.
Right.
One of them was the first game of this season. So they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Tom Brady beat them. Okay. So this game, though, Prescott, maybe one of the best games. I agree. I think he's probably played in his career.
Right.
He was just good. He was just good. I mean, he had 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 96.5.
I mean, if he can see it, he can rip it.
Nearly, QBR. And what kills me about this Tampa defense, and it's kind of been befuddling to me all season, is they're kind of the same guys. They didn't lose a lot of guys.
No.
So are the guys just getting older? I mean, on that defense.
There's probably an element to that. There's probably an element to being on the field the whole game because you don't have a running game.
Yeah, that's the other point I was going to make too. And they were talking about how they rested Fournette. There was, I think, maybe 3 or 4 games Rashad White was starting him, trying to rest Fournette, and
don't use him.
He just went out. Well, they couldn't open any lanes up for him.
Yeah, their offensive line's horrible.
Their offensive line's bad, and then so Brady was in a situation.
Imagine being 45 years old, throwing 66 times in an NFL game.
That's a problem. 66 throws because you don't have a run game. So in that Dallas defense, eventually that front just started really pounding off that offensive line. They were getting to Brady. Brady had that really crucial red zone pick. That wasn't good.
It just seems like that offense has just been like really stale all year too.
Yeah.
Because I mean they fired Leftwich.
Yeah. Well, that just happened this week, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right after that game.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're going to be in rebuild mode.
Yeah, they have to be.
Hey, you got your Super Bowl.
Yeah. And that's another reason, Brady's not going to be there.
No.
He's not going to be there. Why would he? He doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. He's old.
Yeah.
Okay.
He can't
he
take
wants
his
to
house.
go
He's
somewhere.
just too old.
Yeah. So the other question is, though, too, like I said, Fournette and White going 12 carries for 52 yards combined.
And that's not bad numbers, but it should be 22 for 80 something.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great.
But like per rush, that's about, 4.5?
Yeah.
It's not horrible. But
they only had 12 touches.
Yeah, that's stupid. You have a 45-year-old quarterback. You shouldn't be throwing more than 30 times.
But he's been doing it all season. He's been pushing 40-plus throws all season long. All season.
For them to be 8-9, it was a fucking miracle.
A miracle. I mean, I think if they weren't in that division, it would be different.
Yeah.
It absolutely
but they were
be different.
Definitely the best team in that division.
Yeah, which isn't saying much.
Right.
So, what did you think? Did you have any thought? Well, you didn't watch this, did you?
I didn't get to watch that one.
Okay.
I just know the field goal kicker didn't make
Brady,
a single.
Yeah. We're going to get to that.
A single freaking extra point.
So, Brady, I just kind of felt, and I'm not a Brady guy. I know I'm not a lot of guys, but I'm not a Brady slurper. I'm not a fanboy. Okay. So, I just thought, though, that Brady at some point something was going to snap and something was going to click and they were going to start cranking. But I just think by that time in the game it was too worn. Everybody was too worn out. The Tampa offensive line, Tampa defense,
him,
and then when you saw, and then Dallas was just pouring it on them because that defense I think was just too wasted. They were just too wasted in that game. Thought maybe. They recovered an onside kick, and he had that wide open throw to Mike Evans. I'm like, here we go. You're going to get this, and this lucky bastard is going to get another onside kick. Only 4 successful onside kicks, and he's going to get 2 of them in one playoff game for the season. And they still had 3 timeouts left, too. So it's not like it was going to be out of the question. I just thought maybe until it got down there and then I'm like, it was over. And it didn't really seem like Brady was, when you watch his body language when he was, coming out or heading back to the tunnel, it wasn't like disappointment even. I didn't get a feeling like, but I mean, he's been
I feel like he
so
knew
many playoff games.
Well, I feel like he kind of knew what the team was.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah, we do.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have won that, but they weren't going any further than that.
Brady next year. What's your thought?
I think
if he comes back, let's say he comes back.
I think he does.
Okay.
I think he still play. I don't think he's 2016 Tom Brady or anything. No. 2010 Tom Brady, but you put him on a ready-made team. I even think, with what the Raiders could get out of Carr.
Yeah.
You might think that's a place to go.
So you teams back up with McDaniels.
Knows the offense. It would be pretty seamless. You're in a warm environment there.
And Tom Brady's a free agent.
But the one thing to me that I don't know if he wants to be in the AFC.
Just because of how tough the AFC is?
Yeah. I think he would rather have a little easier road to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not that he's one to shy away from anything like that, but
no.
When you're going to be 46 years old, the NFC is going to be a little easier road to hoe there.
Well, we already know that that's the worst division in football. What if Sean Payton were to come back to the Saints and team up with Brady in New Orleans?
I've heard some rumors about that.
He stays in the division. They don't have to. The Saints, obviously, they kind of forego any kind of trade they would get.
And it keeps him out of any crap weather games at the end of the year for the most part.
He's in a dome.
Yeah.
He's
and
still
even
in
all
that
the
South.
other teams in the South are either a dome or you're going to Carolina.
Yeah, you're going to Carolina, right. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's a impossibility for sure.
Well, then, you have somebody like Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you
Michael
have
Thomas. You have
Michael. Well, if he ever comes back.
If he's going to play with anybody.
Olave's been great this season.
Olave's good. Jarvis is still going to be there.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, he's...
Yeah. I mean, he's getting to that point, too. So
sad to see.
Yeah, it is. Because I love Jarvis.
Right.
I got a Browns jersey hanging up in my basement, so with Jarvis's name on it. Yeah. Anyway. All right. CJ segment. Going with the crying Jordan. All right.
You don't look too excited about it this week.
Well, I already know. It's like a foreshadowing, You kind of know what's going to happen here. Lay it on me.
All right, my CJ this week's going to be the big guy to my right here. He was the loner.
The loner out of the group.
The loner to pick
the Chargers.
The Chargers over the Jags, and I'm sure at halftime you felt pretty good about that decision.
Yeah.
And by the end of that...
I did. It was... I don't know why, I don't know why I thought they would just overcome, the Staley. I don't know. I don't know why I thought that. I mean, you guys made great points. Mark brought it up last week.
Well,
I'm like, okay, yeah, but
the thing is the point. Every point we made ended up happening.
Yeah. I definitely, I'm gonna own it. I'll own it. I mean, that's fine. Anyway, oh man, I know. It's not.
I'm gonna get.
It's not gonna be
1 week.
It's not gonna be my last. It wants to be last. Well, you put a crying Jordan on me for like the second half of our podcast one time, the entire time. I can't even remember what that was all about. I can't remember what that was about at all. The other one, the crying Jordan. Brandon's got a nomination here. So there was a scuffle in the Bills. The Bills Dolphins game. Josh Allen, he didn't start it. Okay,
he sure didn't finish it either.
He didn't finish it. He didn't help. Okay, so he kind of got pushed off here. So here's the clip.
A little bit gives He does block Josh Allen a little bit, gives him a shove, bang in the backside. Josh Allen goes, this motherfucker. This is the dude that in the pile, we got after it. They start mixing up. I like this. I like this out of both of them. Now, teammates say, who the fuck are you pushing? And then Wilkins takes it to the ground. He tries to belly-to-belly suplex, a little bit of a roll. It gets on the bottom of the pile. Cuzzy comes in head to Christian Wilkins' head. There's a full brawl taking place, as there should be. Offsetting penalties. Let's move on. It's playoff football.
Yep.
Let's get back into it. Like, I loved the way that whole thing was handled. I appreciate the refs doing that, and I also appreciate Josh Allen mixing it up in there. Now, he breaks his hand in that situation right there. People are going to call him the dumbest person of all time, but people are calling him a bitch because the way that whole thing interacted. I don't think so at all.
So we're gonna have to get a crying Jordan in there somehow. Yeah. Mine is going to go to Brett Maher, not Bill Maher, not the political guy. Brett Maher.
You could probably get one.
Yeah,
too.
he could. So actually, this isn't a crying Jordan, but I found something here. The crying Ray Charles. It's got Maher missing 4 extra points in that Dallas game, and I thought for sure when he missed the first one, this is how Tampa is going to win this game. It's going to come down to that single. Then it was 2. Then it was 3. It got so bad in the fourth quarter. Dallas should have kicked a field goal, and Mike McCarthy left him off. He's like, no, we're just going to go for it.
Right.
That's how bad it is. Then come to find out here, I think it was yesterday, they signed Vizcaino, and I don't think he's kicked. And it said on the story it was for insurance. Hopefully that guy's getting insurance because he's old as fuck. Okay.
When's the last time he's kicked?
That's what I'm saying. I think he was with the Chargers like when Justin Herbert was in diapers.
Where else did he kick?
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was.
He's a journeyman.
Yeah, he was around. I mean, he was around. I mean, the last pronounced stint I think was with the Chargers, but yeah, they basically came out in the story like I don't know if Jerry Jones wanted to get out in front of this space, saying it was just insurance.
Get his old gray ass out there.
Yeah,
I'm sure he could still rip it.
What's Phil Dawson doing?
Right.
I mean, what's this guy doing?
He's good from 45.
I guarantee you, Phil Dawson has like he has his kids now, and he's got a blow up goalpost like in his backyard. He's still kicking Nerf balls through it because that's just Phil. All right, we're gonna move on to the divisional round games this weekend. We have 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. And this is going to get really, really good. The first game on Saturday, Trevor Lawrence has never lost a Saturday game in his high school, college, or pro career.
I'm rooting for him.
It's 41. 41 games he's never lost. So, and then I didn't think I wanted to believe that stat. Of course, everybody's been talking about that. Now, does that stat mean anything? No, it's a day of the week. Okay, but it just happens to be a thing. So he only lost 2 games at Clemson, and one was on a Friday, and the other was on a Monday.
Bloody Monday?
Yeah. So
it was a national title game.
Yes. Yeah. So what do you think about this game? Jags and Chiefs, Kansas City -8.5.
I don't like the spread.
No, you don't like it at all?
I think Jags will cover, and do I want to give myself up for a crying Jordan next week?
Well, there's only 2 of us.
I feel like there's 2 ways that this game can go. It's going to be tight, real tight, or the Chiefs just blow the doors off and it's 45-10.
Yeah.
But to me, just the way the Jags have been playing and how that game went last week, there's a belief there. They're young. I think Kansas City might overlook them coming in.
Yeah.
Because it's Jacksonville,
Let's remember, this is a Kansas City team, too. It doesn't have a great defense, and it never really has had a great defense. They're relying on their offense. Andy Reid, of course, we know Andy Reid coming off a bye. Mm-hmm. That whole thing.
And they have the coaching staff. I think that I'm not saying that.
It's the defense.
I don't think Peterson's Andy Reid, but if there's anybody that can go into a game like that and give your team a chance, it's Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
I like him in that game. I'd like him to cover. I don't know if I want to make the upset of the week, but
No.
it would not surprise me if they make an upset.
Well, I always wanted to bring you back to this one. If you recall, the Colts went out there, and I think they stole their first win of the season at Kansas City earlier this year.
Well, was it in Kansas? I thought that was in Indianapolis.
Maybe it was it in Indy?
I thought it was in
Okay, I'd have to look that up, but still.
Yeah,
it's the
2017. Yeah, because they don't have that deep threat that's going to open it up easily. They have to do the gimmicky shit, and Pat Mahomes has to be Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
If there's a team out there that matches up pretty well with them, I think it's Jacksonville.
Yeah. Now, granted, Jacksonville's defense isn't really that good either.
It's not great, but they make stops when they need it, and I think just the way they played in the last 2 months of the season. A lot of times when you go to the playoffs, it's not the highest seeded team; it's the ones coming in hot.
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely.
Green Bay won their Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. They were 6th seed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, and I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely not shitting on the Jags this week. Okay, I'm definitely not doing that because I'm not getting the CJ 2 weeks in a row. So, but Peterson, I think, he's proven himself. He's definitely proven himself. I mean,
because even early in the year when they were
Eagles,
2-6, they weren't losing horribly.
No,
because they came out pretty hot. They were 2-1, like
and
we were.
The guys got some balls, man, and they beat Baltimore with that 2, and he went for the win in that game.
Yeah,
just a 2-point conversion. And I'm with you. I think it's either going to be. I think this is it's obvious here. It's either just going to be an absolute Kansas City rout of the Jags, or I think the Jags are going to win by a point or field goal.
Yeah,
I think that's really what's going to come down to. Yeah, it's not going to be.
It's
not the Jags blowing out Kansas City, although it could be. I think the over/under is 52.5. I could definitely see the over going on that, but I could also see an under where the Jags
17-16 or
20 to. I'm just saying I could definitely see a world where it's Kansas City 40 and the Jags 7.
Yeah,
and it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I can see that too.
I don't see Kansas City holding how well Lawrence played. I know that first half was horrible.
Yeah.
Second half, you got to groove on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough place to play, but I don't think the weather's going to be horrible, so I think they can sling the rock. They run the ball pretty well.
Right. I'm not going against. I'm going to tell you this too, and I do believe something in that. And it's not so much that the day of the week stat with Trevor Lawrence, but the Andy Reid thing, get on the bye. That's a real thing. When you get extra time to prep, I really believe that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it just now sometimes
a lot of number one seeds have gone down.
They have, and I get that. So, but I really do think that's a real thing with Andy Reid. Okay. Giants at Eagles. Philadelphia is 7.5-point favorites. Really hate that hook on that game.
I would take anything under 7.
But half point I don't like at all.
Also, that's another thing where, the Giants, they're kind of on a good roll now. I like the way Danny Dimes has played. I think the later the season has gotten, the better he's gotten.
Brian Dable's
a smart guy.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the weekend where they do it. But Philadelphia, you're still dealing with the injury to quarterback
Hurts. Yeah.
I don't know if he's 100% yet. I mean, I don't know if he has to be 100%, but without him, they don't look very good.
Right.
So, especially offensively. So
both of these teams played each other
twice.
Yeah, twice in the last. Well, since I think December 10th was when they played the first game, and that's where Philadelphia. Now think about this as far as betting lines. Philly wanted to win that game to clinch the division. Last week when they played, by the way, in that game, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones actually got replaced by Tyrod Taylor late in that game. He also had a bit of an eye injury that was early, and he also hurt his ankle this season. And that was a 42-22 blowout by the Eagles. But they wanted to clinch that division.
Well, and that was when they were still rolling, too.
Yes, yeah. The other thing, but then there was basically Saquon Barkley, Davis Webb started for them in the last game of the season.
Yeah, because it didn't matter.
And Hurts just came back, and Hurts wasn't Hurts then. So, and we saw whether it was rust in that game or, I mean, he still played okay. He still played okay, whether it was rust or maybe his.
And they had to win that to get the first seed.
Injury, correct. Well, they needed.
And that was a close game without Danny Dimes.
Yes, yeah, it was. So that game much closer.
Was that was in Philly too, wasn't it?
I don't know if that one was in Philly. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, because
it was that up.
It was that damn helmet is green.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We watched that. Yeah. Your damn helmet is green.
Should get Brandon a CJ for that.
Yeah. You are not immune to the CJ, Brandon. You will get burnt. So anyway, this is my thought on this game too. Is I think the Giants. Of course, I'd like to say that first game was way back in the season, but it wasn't.
Right.
But the Giants have gotten even healthier on defense now. I think the
formidable.
Yeah, the over under in this game, I believe it's I think I might have saw 42. No, 48 or 48, I believe. Is what I saw on this.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't touch it.
Really? I mean, I'd like to go under, but I was really wanting to hammer the under last week, and I said that in the Seahawks game. Of course, you had 42-22 earlier in the season, but it was a lot tighter. Even though Daniel Jones didn't play in that game, Hurts was just coming back.
Right.
I don't know.
Because it was 20-10 or something like that.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, it was a close game, but they wanted to go ahead and get that one seed, just like you said. So, what do you? 7.5? Too much? That half point is really hurt.
I think it'll be a good game. They might cover that at the end. I mean, I'm going to have to take the Eagles with that. I do
7.5.
Yeah, I do like the Giants. I just don't know if they're quite ready with that yet either. But I mean, their defense is, like you said, they're getting healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take the Giants with the points there.
Right.
Yeah, I think. Dang, I think the Giants cover that.
You think they cover?
Yeah. I don't think they win, but I think they make it
I agree
close.
with you, actually. I agree with you on this. I think they're going to cover. We don't know, and Vegas knows a lot more than what we know as far as is Hurts feeling 100%. I mean, I haven't heard the reports yet. Of course, the team's going to say, yeah, he's 100% going into the game.
We got another 2 weeks since that last game to
heal up. Yeah, that too. Yeah, and that's true. And he could be. We won't really know till we get into game time.
Right, but it might take him a quarter or so to get back into the groove.
Yeah, kind of settle down, and what? Yeah.
But I mean, he does have playoff experience. They went last year. So.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're right. I do want to throw this out here. I found this stat. It's kind of like I did with the Super Wildcard Weekend stats last week. In the divisional round, 7 to 11 point dogs win outright 50% of the time. So when you look at these two games on Saturday, okay.
What's more?
They're both 7 to 11 points. 50% of the time they win. Which one is coming out of there? And the stats I showed last week, and I was texting you guys about it. I was right on it. It was going right down the average.
I think the most likely team to pull the upset would be the Giants.
That's what I think too.
Even though I could see the Jags winning.
Really?
I would love for both of them to win. Fuck
it. Sure. I do think this. I mean, if somehow the Jags do get out of there, the Bills, if they win, they're going to just throttle them. I mean, because the defense is just so – it's not – yeah, the defense for the Bills.
Jacksonville.
It's going to strangle them.
Game.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. Thank you. Great point, too. Yeah, but great stat there. So going off that, one of these two teams should win outright. One of these two dogs should win. And I agree with you. I think it's the Giants if anything happens here. Okay, moving on to Sunday's game, we have Bengals at Bills, Buffalo -5. I think it's been up to 5.5.
I'm taking Buffalo.
I'm taking Buffalo, and I'm swallowing those points.
I'm swallowing it
hard.
Yep.
Hard.
I think this ends up being 34-20. 23, something like that.
And we sound biased because we don't want Cincinnati, but I don't care.
I'll be wrong if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen.
And I think, if Buffalo, and I know with Skylar, everybody's like, oh, yeah, Skylar Thompson, did the cover. Okay.
Buffalo gave him 14 points.
Yeah.
Maybe 21.
Yeah. So Cincinnati, and just like you were talking about earlier, they're really down on their offensive linemen. That's going to be a
Buffalo,
real problem.
Even without Von Miller, is stout up front.
Yeah.
They have two really good defensive tackles.
Yes.
Rousseau, whatever his name is. On the, on the outside, on the other side. Milano's a good blitzer.
Milano was about to bring that up.
They're just really good.
Yeah.
And, there were some blown coverages against Miami, but those are two of the best wide receivers in the league.
Yeah. True.
I mean, Jamar Chase, he's probably one of the best wide receivers in the league. But
T. Higgins too,
and Boyd are not.
I mean, Cincinnati's not lacking on offensive weapons, and I hate to go against Joe Burrow here. I'd be guarding your knee again.
Yeah, well, even when the left tackle was in last week, it's not like they were lighting it up.
No,
I mean, he was having to make difficult throws and he was getting it out quick.
Yeah,
and people want to say Baltimore has a better front. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a 38-year-old Calais Campbell and Odafe Owe.
Queen and Roquan Smith are.
But I'm talking about their front.
Oh, the front. Yeah. You're right.
You're telling me Buffalo's front isn't just as good, and you have Milano, and you have
those guys in the back end.
Yeah, and they have guys in the back end.
Right, and also, it's.
And you have a lot more to worry about trying to get down the field with Josh Allen on the other side. So
as a betting perspective, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So from the reports, DeMar Hamlin's been coming into the facility every single day. And I don't think there's anything that would be bigger than him to be in the stands, because there was reports against Miami that he may have, but he didn't make the game.
Right.
I think he's going to make this. He's going to make this game. He's going to make this game. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what's going to happen. I think there could be a whole ceremonial thing that they do. The NFL pushes all this. It's going to get that crowd pumped, and then it's going to get the Buffalo players pumped.
Oh, it's a storyline for the playoffs, and then like I always say, after a while nobody will give a shit. But right now,
this makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
It makes a difference. Yeah, absolutely. That game that's already been bet up to 5.5. It opened at 5. I'm hammering that. Boy, you give me even the 7.5. I think the Bills are winning by 10. I think last week was an anomaly. There was also a divisional opponent, and
they kept him in the game. I mean, they did go through a lull, but again, dude, Miami's got a pretty good damn defense too.
Yeah, they do.
And like I said, they've played him 3 times.
That makes a difference.
Yeah.
That makes a difference. Okay.
Not that Cincinnati doesn't have a good defense, but for 4 quarters, good luck.
The other thing I wanted to bring this up to, and that's a defensive thing, but Cincinnati feasts off the turnovers too.
Yeah.
They get turnovers. Now, they're going against Josh Allen, and we got done talking about his turnovers and that being I just said, is this going to be a problem going forward in their playoff run? Are they going to clean this up?
They're going to have to get at least 3 turnovers, I think, for that to sway the outcome of the game. Yeah. Because I don't think offensively, if they have to go more than 60 yards, they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
They get short fields and they get 14, 17 points off turnovers, then maybe yeah.
Well, and you also got to just not to really harp on this. But we also crushed Cincinnati on Halloween.
Yeah, with the backup quarterback.
Yeah. And the last 2 seasons, it's been the worst loss that we've had with the Browns. And I know they finally redeemed themselves, when they beat us later in the season.
Well, the refs gave them the first half lead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
One of the most aggravating games I've ever watched.
So I hope that Josh Allen keeps under wraps. I think Josh Allen is going to – I think there's going to be – he's probably going to throw a pick in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he targets.
He's
hopefully
thrown a pick in how many games? He's
Yeah.
lead leaguer in interceptions, right?
Yeah, I mean, he throws a lot.
The whole offense runs through him, so he's going to turn the ball over.
Right, he's going to. But he takes, he's the big arm guy. He takes the long shots. A lot of times they pay off. If they keep paying off, that's how they can stack up the points against you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Joe Burrow and these guys can keep that going. Last one, Cowboys, 49ers, Niners -4 at San Francisco. I think there might be a little bit of recency bias in this game.
I also could see Dallas winning this game.
I know. It's two defenses, Purdy versus Prescott, defense versus defense. I mean,
could it be the 1 week where Purdy shows the chinks in the armor?
I know. And it could.
He could go in a historic run and win the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, Dan Quinn's their defensive coordinator down in Dallas.
Yeah.
So.
And he worked with Shanahan, right? In
yeah,
Atlanta?
he was head coach. He was head coach
Yeah.
when Shanahan was the offensive coordinator there. Yeah. So. Just trying, this table's like a fucking Ouija board.
But.
Fuck Cincinnati. All right. What do you nobody really knows what's going to happen here, but
the safe bet is San Fran.
It is. That's the safe bet. Is Dallas covering that? I mean, it's 4. Being a defensive game, it should be. I think it should be 3. I think the line should be 3.
Yeah. I just, for me, I think if San Fran wins this game, they're winning it by 10 points.
Yeah.
If it's a close game, I might give the edge to Dallas.
Right. And the other thing is too, is San Francisco going to have to get a turnover score here or a turnover short field? And they could very well do it.
Yeah.
They could do it. But I agree with you. I mean, Purdy could get exposed here.
Yeah.
He could definitely get exposed. So
it's gonna be a good game to watch.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite. It's gonna be my favorite game to watch.
Well, and that's why the NFL once again is king, and they're the smartest sport out there. It's the last game on the slate.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's your probably two biggest brands.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Maybe Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be in there. I mean, I'm not throwing out Schittsburg name. Whatever. I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, hell, we get more viewers than they do every week. Just saying. I think the Browns-Steelers playoff game still has a record for viewers.
Oh, does it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It had more than the Super Bowl that year, I think.
Wow. Okay. Last little segment here. Well, last couple. Just Ohio State. Just a couple little short notes here. C.J. Stroud waiting till the last minute.
I thought he already declared before the bowl game.
Yeah. No, he hadn't declared. Of course, we were watching him walk off the field, kind of crying and stuff, waving away. You kind of thought that was going to be. Then there was, the inklings that Cade Stover is going to come back. Cade Stover is returning. And then I heard also that Stroud might consider also returning. I mean, Buckeye Nation definitely crossing their fingers on that. I don't know how good McCord is.
I just don't see him being the guy next year.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What are they going to do?
I don't know.
I don't either. I mean,
I wish Mark was here, but
I
I feel like that there's another recruit coming up the pipeline.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't you rather just go to a freshman at this point?
Yeah.
And get a few years out of somebody?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work if they're gonna go to him.
Because I've seen him McCord play a couple times. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
But he could be the next Joe Burrow. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know that. I mean, you don't know that. Last segment here, NFL best bets for the weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out there. I just kind of pump this one, and I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on that Jags-Chiefs game, and that's the one I've actually pulled up here. Let's see. I have Travis Kelce anytime touchdown scorer. I mean, I think that's almost a lock. I mean, they're like I think they're ranked 26th in the league against opposing tight ends. The Jacksonville Jaguars are. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence over a half interception. at least one interception thrown. I mean, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, there's recency in that too.
Right.
With the turnovers last week.
Yeah, because he was number one quarterback in the last 10 weeks of the season or last 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Chiefs first half. I think they could definitely get
home game.
They could get out in front on this one. Is Jacksonville, could they come back in the second half? Absolutely. They could do the same thing they did to the Chargers. The difference is, though, they got Andy Reid over there and not Brandon Staley.
Right.
So I think the Chiefs first half, and then total points by the Chiefs in the first half, 16.5. Well, if I'm taking the Chiefs,
that should be over.
I mean, if I'm taking the Chiefs, I took the over.
I think it'd be 17, 14 and a half, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I could see the Chiefs. I mean, I could
be
see
24
the Chiefs,
to 10 and a half.
Yeah. I think it's going to be over. I really like that number because I could definitely see the Chiefs easily hitting 17, and you got Butker kicking, and he's a great kicker. I mean, even if they do get some stops, I
watch
really
him
like
miss
that.
an extra point.
I know it, and watch it screw my whole damn parlay up. You just had to bring that shit. If that shit happens, I'm CJing your ass next week, son of a bitch. The other one is, so I'm riding the Travis Kelce here over 6.5 receptions.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
He's going to be 10
receptions.
for 130 and 2 touchdowns. Probably.
I brought this up. Jags defense isn't good. These are two not great defenses in the Chiefs and Jags. Jags really bad against the tight end. I also considered parlaying Evan Ingram in there for the Jaguars against the Chiefs too. So that right there, $15 bet is paying $105
for that whole parlay.
It's a
That's
five.
pretty
It's
solid,
a 5-legger. I put 15 on that. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty good. And then I'm just hoping that maybe I hit that, and then I can just start just doing random shit on the other three
the
games.
Other games.
That's the one I've really tried to focus on that game because of the over/under being so high.
Yeah.
In that game. So in the bad defenses, I just really tried to focus my bets on the offense. So
watch rainstorm pop up.
I know, right? It's just like the plain winds just come out there, and the over/under is like 30. I mean, it gets missed by like 22.5 points.
What game was it that we were talking about, and then it ended up being shit weather? Was it a Browns game?
Yeah. Was it COVID year? Was it the Philly with Carson Wentz?
No, it was this year.
Oh, this year. It ended up being just a shit weather.
Yeah, we were like, we didn't know. What the hell was that?
Well,
it wasn't the Saints game, but it was.
Oh, I thought you were actually talking about a game that we went to.
No.
Okay.
No, like we were talking about the over/under, and like.
Oh, yeah.
Pound the over, and then it ended up being like a freaking monsoon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might not have been a Browns game, but I just remember.
Well,
that.
I know last week that Mark called me and he said, "Have you looked at the weather on this game yet?" And I guess it was just like hurricane type force coming off at Levi Stadium, and then all of a sudden, and then I got on the app and I looked at the weather report, and it's saying that it was supposed to be sunny, and I'm like, somebody didn't update AccuWeather here, and all of a sudden it's like
blue skies.
It's like clockwork. Game time came up, boom, which I was feeling really good about my under bet on that last week, and then San Francisco blew my under. They almost blew my under by themselves. So yeah. Anyway, Ryan, anything else you want to add on this?
Just like and subscribe. Appreciate all our loyal listeners trying to grow the raw dogging family here.
Absolutely.
So
right, we want everybody out there to just raw dog.
Yep.
Just dog.
Spit on it.
Yeah. Anyway, once again, we have our Raw Doggers T-shirts. We $19.95, and then I can also ship those for $6.95. anybody that's locally, or if you want me to ship, I can go ahead and do that too. So, anything else?
No, sir.
Hey, happy NFL. This is really when it's going to get good.
Yeah,
it's
the
really
divisional weekend's
good.
always the best.
Divisional weekend's just fantastic.
Too bad we're not playing
again.
Yeah,
again. Hopefully next year.
Used to it.
Hopefully next year.
Always next year.
That's the Browns motto.
Yeah.
That's their fan motto. Just next year. Okay, Raw Doggers out.
Raw Doggers out.